All right, what's up, sophomores? How you're doing today? This is your boy, Mr. Devin Evans, for our next recording week of teaching. I'm so happy about this week as you're one step closer to our summer vacation. So obviously with the corona going around, it's not going to be probably as fun, but I'll try the best I can to make sure that at least in our schooling sessions online, we're having fun and learning great content. I want to say that if you are able to study your content from last academic year and this year, please study it. I know there's corona going around. I know people are going through hard times, but if you are able to do some of the work and engage, please do so. Your education is very important. Once coronavirus is done and we open society back up, you got college one day you got to go to, and etc. Which means that if you got to have the skills to get into school and thrive there. So the sophomore year is a very important year to learn certain skills. So I want you all, those that are able to do so, to stay engaged with the content in my classroom and other folks' classes too until the year ends. You do not rest in the middle. You rest in the end, okay? I'm not resting until I retire. You know, I retire, I'll be still doing work. So if you are able to do the work, still do the work, you all. All right, off my rant, let's jump right into this content. So I'm gonna share my screen with you all. I hope you are doing well and doing the best you can to stay health and safe out here in the middle of a pandemic. So this week we're talking about poetry, and I want to break it down a little bit further. So when you are listening to certain poetry, rap songs, and etc., you have the skill to know what an artist is doing that makes that poem great. And also you can tell which artist, whether a written poet artist or someone that's a mumble rapper, while they're not as skilled, okay? Certain things you can do when you're speaking and writing can make your poems more powerful, more strong, and more effective, right, for a certain audience. And I look forward to going a little more in depth with this week about this stuff this week, okay? So that's kind of wrong. I look forward to going more in depth with this stuff this week. There we go. Sorry about that. Get a little tongue tied. I'm getting excited. All right, so first of all, you see on the screen here, we have our standards and our objectives, okay? So I'm gonna always root our content in these two different things, so we have a guiding way to what we get into at the end of our lesson or the week. So first standard, RTS01, analyzing text structure. So a poem is a text, okay? It's not a book, it can be a book, but a poem is a text, okay? So don't think, oh my God, we're covering poetry, it's not part of reading a book. Well, it is a book. A book can be a page. It can be 2 pages long, front and back, that's a book. Your ideas are there, okay, not a book, maybe paper. I guess a book would be more so like past 40 pages, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we're analyzing your text structure today. Next part, IICR01, determining central ideas and themes. So please do not forget from last unit on love, the Eyes of Watching God. That book we talked about in class, a theme versus a main idea. So as a reminder, some of you all left your books in the locker at school. A theme is what? Think for a second. What is a theme? Now you thought about it? A theme is a central message that the author wants you to get out of the text. Example, in the Eyes of Watching God with Zora Neale Hurston, specifically the whole entire book, a theme could be words from your family can cause you to stay in a bad relationship. Make sense? So understand that in these books, you're going to begin to read more in classes next year and junior, senior year, and etc. There are fiction novels. They're not real, which means that beyond the characters, it's a theme. They want you to get out of the actual reading. Okay, don't forget that. Here are your objectives for today and for this week, pretty much. Students will analyze text structure in poems by learning different components of poems and how artists use them in their work. Number 2, students will determine themes of selected poems by reading and finding evidence that proves the theme. All right, next part. Please say this back to me and don't forget it. Say it right now. When I say it, you want to say it back. Are you at your house right now? Or you in a car right now? You chilling right now? I want you to say it out loud. Don't ever forget this. Please say back after me. Context reveals the content. Let's say it again. The context reveals the content. Whenever you have a book you want to read, or a poem, or artist, or etc., always ask yourself, who is this person? What's their background? How old are they? Were they born in America, Chicago, South Side, North Side, suburbs, born in Australia, born in Toronto, Drake, okay? Which means that the way you bring about your music is going to have an effect by your background, your context, okay? Never forget that. So first thing first in the slide here, I'm in the zone today. Take this off. I'm getting hot. I got my Spartan shirt on, go green. Big Ten in the house. So what is poetry? Let me change that tone on that. What is poetry? That's better. So I broke it down for you all. And I remember I had a word I covered last year called etymology. This means the study of words and where they come from. It is ancient Greek and it means I create. First of all, I don't know how to say this word. It's poio or poio, poetry, okay? Powerful definition of this word, I create. When you are writing a book, you are writing a text or etc. In my personal opinion, it is poetry. If you made it and you created it, it's poetry, okay? But you gotta break it down a little more than just that. Definition of poetry is an art form in which human language is used for an aesthetic qualities in addition to or instead of its notional, semantic content. That's a lot happening there, the definition there. I'm gonna read it again real slow for y'all. It's an art form in which language, Spanish, English right now we're speaking, is used for an aesthetic quality. Aesthetic means what's on it. It means like, you know, in a house, you have a couch that has like furniture on there with little pillows that are colorful. It's called the aesthetics, okay? And we'll get into this a little bit more in the lesson. Instead of is notional or speaking in theory, or semantic word meaning, what words mean content. It consists largely of oral and literary works in which language is used in a manner that is felt by its user and audience to differ from ordinary prose or written or spoken language. When a person doing spoken word, first of all, if I did spoken word, I'd probably be a beast at it because when I speak, I have power on my words. Certain words I say, I use emphasis, which brings about a certain reaction in myself and in you as the listener. So a good poet, a good poem, and good poetry, even in oration, you're moved by it, okay? Something about what they're saying activates mirror neurons, and you be feeling it, okay? Whether it's a song, a poem, or etc. A song is a poem. So I want you all to think deep about what this is. A person is sharing with you all their experiences in their brain. Now, some people are not doing it. It's just a job to them. They're just saying words to say it. You know what I'm talking about, mumble rappers. Man, we had class, bro, because end of the school year, I do a hip hop unit. I would have went in on mumble rappers. Someone got no skill. They good. I'm right? Having a great time rapping, but it lacks poetic elements. Okay? Let me calm myself down. If I teach y'all again, hopefully if I move to senior year, we'll cover this again maybe about mumble rappers and what makes real rap. Okay? What's a good hip hop artist and good poetry? All right, next part. More on poetry. So, poetry is notoriously difficult to translate from one language to another. A possible exception to this might be the Hebrew poems, where the beauty is found more in the balance of ideas than a specific vocabulary. So those that are religious or sort of the Bible, the book of Psalms written by David is very poetic. It has certain themes that kind of go hand in hand together, and he used certain words, David, to flow out of his ideals. And if you study in college one day, religious studies, you'll study the Quran and the Bible, and many of these books are very poetic in nature. And we're going to learn in a second certain things that make it poetic and make you feel some type of way as you read them. Second bullet point, these shades and nuances of meaning can be difficult to interpret and cause different readers to hear a particular piece of poetry differently. Let's stop right there. First of all, we're taking notes on this online lecture. Pause. If you feel like I'm going too fast, pause, take some notes down, think, reflect, right? That's how lecture's supposed to work, okay? We engage right now in the content. Take a little pause if you need to and write some notes down. As I was saying, when you hear a rap song, when you read a poem, I guarantee that we got 25 kids in the classroom, about 25 folks in the room are gonna have 25 different perspectives on that poem. Because you all coming in with different experiences, different backgrounds, different reading ability that changes how you view and interpret a poem. Just that powerful. Next bullet point. While there are reasonable interpretations, there can never be a definitive interpretation. Because understand this, you all, if a person makes a song, right, they might have the intention, I want to make the person feel sad. I want them to be reflective about their bad breakup with a guy or girl they had a couple years ago. I want them to feel that in their neurons. But sometimes my intention or artist's intention to bring about those emotions, sometimes when you hear it, you don't be feeling sad. Some of y'all be like, yes, I broke up with her. Yes, I broke up with them. So the emotion of trying to be sad, you don't even feel it because your mind is somewhere else. You interpret it differently, okay? If you in a breakup, I'm telling you, a breakup song will have you, oh my God, I wish that you could let it burn. That song was Usher, bro. He was hitting that thing hard. I remember in high school going through a breakup. That song got me through. But if you heal and you in a good space, that song come on, I turn it off. I want to hear that. That has sad music. I want to be feeling that. Okay? So understand that people are going to receive your poetry in different kind of ways. Why it's so important sometimes to have a conversation with your artist about what are you doing? What's your purpose and goal behind this thing? But sometimes the artist is like, know what? I have my interpretation, but as you hear it, I want you to figure out your own interpretation. Okay? Next part. I'm in a zone today. Right. So poetry is not necessarily illogical, but rather that poetry is often curated from the need to escape the logical. That means making sense, as well as expressing feelings and other expressions in a tight, condensed manner. I love that very much so. Poems and poetry do not always follow conventional English norms. I cannot tell you how to write a poem and I'm going there and saying, change this, change that. That's not how you do poetry. You write a poem, it's how you want it to come out. You learn certain methods, we're gonna get to in a minute, how to make it flow, rhythm, and etc. But going there and saying, you gotta have a strong introduction. It's a poem. How you wanna start is how you wanna start it, okay? Next part. So there are some aspects of poetry I want you all to be able to note, okay? Here are some couple of words. First of all, analyzing poetry is very in-depth. I'm not covering it as in-depth as I want to. You're getting the basic stuff right now. So the first word to write down your notes right now is rhythm. Everybody say rhythm, okay? Now some of y'all don't got no rhythm. You be doing this at a party, can't even do the, whoa, can't even do the, let me stop playing with y'all today. The little mop, right? You mopping your hand over here somewhere, or you off beat, okay? So rhythm is a repeated sequence of pattern or sound. First of all, I am not a scientist, but I have a friend who's a scientist, right? They study sound waves, bro. And if you, I'm sorry, I'm teaching that at home. They study sound wave, students. And if you are, he has a little machine that can measure the frequencies and the gigahertz of the sound. And different beats and different symbols, it makes your brain interpret it differently. You feel differently from the different sounds, okay? It's like a bang on the door. Alert, somebody trying to break in or they're crazy, but you humming. A little bit more nice. I can't hum, but you get the point. Different frequencies, different sounds create different effects, okay? Next part, repetition, repeating. I like this one. I have a poem that I actually did. I went around the city. I was taking a little walk and I made one myself. I'm gonna read it off y'all for real fast and a little example. We'll cover some more in the unit. I have a little flower here that I was looking at. Can y'all see that? A little flower. And I said this: the ability to recover quickly from difficulties is resiliency. This rose still grew despite being the only rose in the dirt. This rose still grew despite the tree shade that darkened its sun and its energy for a time. This rose still grew. This one is tough. This rose overcame it all. This rose still grew. You see that repetition there? That's a good poem right there. Now, first of all, last note, this is not a rose, it's a tulip, but the rose fit better in my poem, okay? So please understand, you all, that there are a lot of parts of poetry, but for right now, we're focusing on, in this section here, rhythm and repetition. So a good poem is mixed with both and some more other elements. Keep on going some more. First clip of the week for you all. I'm gonna play a very short clip about poetry, a short clip. And I want you all to stop and pause and write down these words definitions, whether in your, go in your library, go in your dictionary or go online to get your definitions. And the video, I want you to pause and stop it at certain parts to write down examples of this taking place in this little video, okay? So the words are here. Again, pause if you need to. Rhythm, repetition, poetic repetition, assonance, consonants, and alliteration. So tomorrow in our review session, I'm gonna have a recorded video. I'm gonna go over all these words and use different poems or a poem to showcase all these taking place in those poems there for review tomorrow, okay? I gotta record 4 different videos. This is my first one. Tomorrow I'm doing vocabulary review, and then I figure out the last 2 in the week. So let's stop the share. I'm gonna play this one, the video, and we're going to take some notes on the video. Oh Lord, where is it? I hate when this happens. Oh yeah, Evan's in the zone today. I wish we had class, y'all. I miss y'all. I miss class so much, y'all. Y'all have no idea I miss it. I do miss class a lot. Here it is. All right, let's go ahead and play it, you all.
Just for a moment, focus on your breath. In slowly, out slowly, in slowly, out. The same pattern repeats within every one of us. And consider your pulse. The beat is built into the very fabric of our being. Simply put, we are creatures of rhythm and repetition. It's central to our experience. Rhythm and repetition. Rhythm and repetition. On and in and on and out. And we delight in those aspects every day. In the rhythm of a song, the beat of the drum, the nod of your head, or in the repetition of soup cans, the rows of an orchard, the artistry of petals. Pattern can be pleasure. In language, rhythm and repetition are often used as the building blocks for poetry. There's the rhythm of language, created by syllables and their emphasis, such as, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see. And there's the repetition of language at multiple levels, the repetition of letters. So long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Of sounds, breathe, see, thee, and of words. With so many uses, repetition is one of the poet's most malleable and reliable tools. It can lift or lull the listener, amplify or diminish the line, unify or diversify ideas. In fact, even rhythm itself, a repeated pattern of stressed syllables, is a form of repetition. Yet for all its varied uses, too much repetition can backfire. Imagine writing the same sentence on the blackboard 20 times, again and again and again and again. Or imagine a young child clamoring for her mother's attention. Mom, mom, mommy, mom, mom. Not exactly what we might call poetry. So what is poetic repetition, and why does it work? Possibly most familiar is rhyme, the repetition of like sounds in word endings. As with Shakespeare's example, we often encounter rhyme at the ends of lines. Repetition in this way creates an expectation. We begin to listen for the repetition of those similar sounds. When we hear them, the found pattern is pleasurable. Like finding Waldo in the visual chaos, we hear the echo in the oral chatter. Yet rhyme need not surface solely at a line's end. Notice the strong I sound in so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. This repetition of vowel sounds is called assonance, and can also be heard in Eminem's Lose Yourself. Notice how the E and O sounds repeat both within and at the end of each line. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't give up that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows his whole back's to these ropes. The alternating assonance creates its own rhythm and invites us to try our own voices in echoing it. Similarly, consonance is the repetition of like consonant sounds, such as the L and TH in so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. In fact, this type of specific consonance, which occurs at the beginning of words, may be familiar to you already. It's called alliteration or front rhyme. Great examples include tongue twisters. Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter, so Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. Here, the pleasure in pattern is apparent as we trip over the consonants both within words and at their start. Yet tongue twisters also reflect the need for variation in poetic repetition. While challenging to say, they're seen by some as lesser imitations of poetry, or gimmicky, because they hammer so heavily on the same sounds, closer to that blackboard style of repetition. Ultimately, this is the poet's balancing act, learning when to repeat and when to riff, when to satisfy expectations, and when to thwart them. And in that balance, it may be enough to remember we all live in a world of wild variation and carry with us our own breath and beat, our own repetition, wherever we go.
All right, that is that. So I want you all to take some time to actually go into your notes, and I want you all to take some notes down on these words here. I'm going to share the screen again for you all, and I'm going to stop this for day one, because that's enough for day one. Just to look at that, and I have a worksheet where you can do this on a worksheet and submit if you would like. This one is going to be it's not going to be for classwork. I'm only assigning 3 assignments total. So, 1 classwork, 1 homework, 1 quiz. So this will be work you do on your own to learn the content. I'm not going to collect it. I have another assignment for tomorrow. We're going to look at Malcolm London's poem, and that will be for actual grade. But for today assignment, you're going to do some work, but it's not going to be one you're going to turn in for a grade. Okay. So we're going to pause right here. Take the time to watch the video over again if you need to, or find it on YouTube, and define these words and then examples that were used in the actual video you just saw. Okay. All right, we're gonna pause there. I'm gonna be in the same outfits. I don't think I'm being dirty. I'm gonna do all the lectures for the week right now. I'm in the zone. All right, let's pause this right now. I will see you all tomorrow. Best of luck in your work tonight. Hope you enjoyed this short lecture. Bye.